What the heck does Hunter Biden have to do with Artsakh? All right, I've got a lot to get through in this episode, and I will tie this latest Hunter Biden, Joe Biden potential scandal to what I'm doing here on this YouTube channel. Believe it or not, they are tied together, and there's a bunch to go through. I've got a ton of headlines and links. They'll all be in the description below. Let's start off with Real Clear Politics is a website. It's an aggregating website. They collect headlines every day, morning, noon, and night from numerous periodicals from both sides of the aisle, if you will, like National Review Online, New York Times, New York Post, CNN, The Hill, American Greatness, The Atlantic, Federalist, Washington Times, and so on and so forth. So let's just go to this one that I saw today. This is from American Greatness, which tends to lean right. I'm not going to read a bunch of this, but this is an assertion from what's going on in the headlines right now. Did Joe Biden take a bribe? Now, if the president of the United States takes a bribe, that's a bad thing. You know, it's a compromise in national security. And this is former vice president and potentially future president. And if he took a bribe, it's not a good thing. Did Joe Biden take a bribe? Let me jump down. The New York Post has kind of an exclusive. They've released they call it the October surprise, is some dirt on Joe Biden and his family. And the New York Post has produced an email trail from a trove of documents obtained from a now on-the-record store owner who received the laptop directly from Hunter Biden. So that's the laptop. One side of the aisle saying this just sounds like more Russian interference in our elections, and the other side is saying, no, this is a laptop signed off by Hunter Biden. Like there's a receipt apparently with his signature on it, et cetera. So this is a laptop that he abandoned apparently. And there's some stuff coming out. Neither Joe nor Hunter has disputed the authenticity of any specific document. Indeed, as of Monday, the campaign called the lid, blah, 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 blah. All right. So this article says, let's walk through the evidence to consider whether Biden did, in fact, take a bribe. I'm not going to go through this. Again, the links are in the description below. This article makes a case for why Joe Biden may be in trouble, maybe in serious trouble. We'll see. But what is this all about? This has to do with his son. And so let me go back in time. This is a New York Times from May 1st, 2019. So this is a year and a half ago. Biden faces conflict of interest questions that are being promoted by Trump and allies. It was a foreign policy role Joseph R. Biden Jr. enthusiastically embraced during his vice presidency, browbeating Ukraine's notoriously corrupt government to clean up its act. And one of his most memorable performances came on a trip to Kiev in December 2015, when he threatened to withhold $1 billion in United States loan guarantees if Ukraine's leaders did not dismiss the country's top prosecutor, who had been accused of turning a blind eye to corruption in his own office and among the political elite. The pressure campaign eventually worked. The prosecutor generally let me skip down. Among those who had a stake in the outcome was Hunter Biden, Mr. Biden's younger son, who at the time was on the board of an energy company owned by a Ukrainian oligarch who had been in the sights of the fired prosecutor general. If anybody's following any news, you already know what I'm talking about. But I want to read two more paragraphs out of this article. The broad outlines of how the Biden's role, let's get Hunter in there. The broad outline of how the Biden's roles intersected in Ukraine have been known for some time. The former vice president's campaign said that he had always acted to carry out United States policy without regard to any activities of his son, that he had never discussed the matter with Hunter Biden, and that he learned of his son's role with the Ukrainian energy company from news reports. Okay, so this is a year and a half old New York Times article, and New York Times is accused of being left-leaning, and arguably they are. They attack Trump every chance they get, which means they would be on the other side of Trump when Trump is on the right. So this is saying that Joe Biden knew nothing about, or Joe Biden claimed to know nothing about what was going on. But new details about Hunter Biden's involvement and a decision this year by the current Ukrainian prosecutor general to reverse himself and reopen an investigation into Burisma have pushed the issue back into the spotlight, just as the senior Mr. Biden is beginning his 2020 presidential campaign. So this is a year and a half ago. This is way back when Biden was just deciding to enter the race that we are in right now, weeks away, a week and a half away, or 2 weeks of today, as of today. We'll be voting on the next president of the United States. All right, let's move on to, this is a video, if you haven't seen this already, this is Joe basically backing up or saying to an audience at the Council of Foreign Relations, basically admitting to forcing out this prosecutor.
I said, I'm not going to, or we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said, I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion. I said, you're not getting $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid at the time. I'm not.
All right, it just replaced. So here's Biden essentially admitting to what was alleged in that article, that he withheld something of value, $1 billion from Ukraine, until they fired a prosecutor that he didn't like. And it turns out that prosecutor was investigating Burisma, or was threatening. It was inactive at the time, and then they ended up, even after that prosecutor left, they ended up reopening that investigation. All right, let's move on to this Washington Post article. Diplomat tells investigators, this is a few months after that previous article from the New York Times. This is October 18, 2019. Diplomat tells investigators he raised alarms in 2015 about Hunter Biden's Ukraine work, but was rebuffed. So this is going back in time. And this is an Obama administration official raising a red flag. A career State Department official overseeing Ukraine policy told congressional investigators this week that he had raised concerns in early 2015 about then Vice President Joe Biden's son serving on the board of a Ukrainian energy company, but was turned away by a Biden staffer, according to 3 people familiar with the testimony. George Kent, a Deputy Assistant Secretary of State, testified Tuesday that he worried that Hunter Biden's position at the firm, Burisma Holdings, would complicate efforts by U.S. diplomats to convey to Ukrainian officials the importance of avoiding conflicts of interest, said the people who spoke on the condition of anonymity because of confidentiality rules surrounding the deposition. Oh, and the final, I don't want to read anymore, but this one paragraph. Kent said he had concerns that Ukrainian officials would view Hunter Biden as a conduit for currying influence with his father, said these people. But when Kent raised the issue with the Biden office, he was told the then vice president didn't have the bandwidth to deal with the issue involving his son, as his other son, Beau, was battling cancer, said the people familiar with this testimony. So the State Department confronted or reached out to the Biden office, and they did not address it. And he used his other son's cancer as a reason that they weren't addressing it. And it was never brought up again. All right. Now, concerning this, what we have here, I'm tying these things together. This is a formerly secret document that was unclassified by the President of the United States on September 24th of 2019. So this is a month before that other article we just read. And this is relating to a phone call dated July 25th, 2019. Some of you already know what I'm talking about. This is a call between the President of the United States and the newly elected President Zelensky of Ukraine regarding all of these matters. President Trump is calling to congratulate him on his victory and talk about, let's work together. You know, this is what presidents do, dealing with their counterparts in other countries. And then toward the middle of this, so he's talking about that prosecutor that was forced out because the accusations of corruption, and Trump's like, yeah, I heard he was a good guy, wasn't a bad guy. And then in this call, Trump's like, I hope you're not surrounding yourself with more of those corrupt people and that you're doing the right thing. And then he starts talking about this investigation. Earlier he mentioned it, but I wanted to just read this one section, the end of this statement by President Zelensky. I also plan to surround myself with great people. And in addition to that investigation, I guarantee as the president of Ukraine that all the investigations will be done openly and candidly. That I can assure you, Trump responds. Good, because I heard you had a prosecutor who was very good and he was shut down. And that's really unfair. A lot of people are talking about that. The way they shut your very good prosecutor down and you had some very bad people involved. Mr. Giuliani is a highly respected man. And Rudy Giuliani is the guy that got this laptop. He has possession of Hunter Biden's laptop right now. Mr. Giuliani is also President Trump's personal attorney. Mr. Giuliani is a highly respected man. He was the mayor of New York City, a great mayor, and I would like him to call you. I will ask him to call you along with the attorney general. Rudy very much knows what's happening, and he is a very capable guy. If you could speak to him, that would be great. The former ambassador from the United States, the woman was bad news, and the people she was dealing with in Ukraine were bad, blah, blah, blah. The other thing, there's a lot of talk about Biden's son, that Biden stopped the prosecution. And a lot of people want to find out about that. So whatever you can do with the attorney general would be great. Biden went around bragging that he stopped the prosecution. So if you can look into it, it sounds horrible to me. So this is this is the basis for the impeachment we went through at the beginning of this year. One side is alleging that this is the president using his office to dig up dirt on a political opponent. Now, on the face of it, well, yeah, you could certainly phrase it that way. But even based on the New York Times and the Washington Post articles I read earlier, that there is a legitimate concern here that the United States government must look into regarding the former vice president of the United States, his son, and some kind of conflict of interest that has never been resolved, not even addressed. So anybody watching this is like, yeah, you're partisan, but I'm just talking about facts here. So this document is from the U.S. House of Representatives Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. So that phone call transcript that I just read, somebody that was involved, somebody who was privy to that call, somebody turned into a whistleblower, saying, "Wow, I think the thing that when he mentioned Joe Biden looking at and investigating, that's improper. There's an impropriety here." And so the Chairman Adam Schiff, chairman of the Intelligence Committee in the House of Representatives, stated, "A month ago, a whistleblower within the intelligence community lawfully filed a complaint regarding a serious flagrant problem, abuse, violation of law, or deficiency within the responsibility or authority of the Director of National Intelligence." That's all I'm going to read here, but this is Adam Schiff is representing a whistleblower, or a whistleblower came to him, or he received knowledge that a whistleblower had filed a complaint, and this is him subpoenaing the intelligence, subpoenaing whoever's got control of this document to release it, because it alleges that the President of the United States was acting improperly, abusing power, using his influence improperly. So who is this guy, Adam Schiff? I'm telling you, I'm going to connect this to the project I'm working on. I'm going to connect this to the Armenian genocide. I'm going to be connecting this to statehood for Artsakh. We're about halfway through. BBC News, Trump impeachment. Who is Democrat Adam Schiff? So he's the guy who, California Congressman Adam Schiff, has been chosen to lead the prosecution in the Trump impeachment trial. Who is this veteran Democrat extolled by colleagues, reviled by the president? So Adam Schiff, arch nemesis of Donald Trump, at least, well, for a while. And in particular, he led the prosecution. He impeached the president. He's the one who was appointed or agreed to. He was the man at the helm. I won't read this, but again, you can go to the link and read the rest of it, because I will move on to the Los Angeles Times. Now, this is where things get interesting. Adam Schiff This is Los Angeles Times dated December 15th, 2019. Scuffle breaks out in Glendale as Rep. Adam Schiff speaks at Armenian genocide event. Same man who is prosecuting the impeachment of the President of the United States. Adam Schiff is the representative of the largest community of Armenians in the United States. Glendale, California is 2/3 Armenian. So it's an enclave. It's Armenia West, if you will. There's more Armenians in Glendale. Well, I wouldn't say there's more in Glendale than there are in Armenia itself, but it's the biggest concentration. It's where, in fact, where this event happened, this picture of these people, this is in a library where I do research, where I have gone with my Armenian historian, Armin, many times. And let me just read a little bit of it. Scuffles broke out Saturday during a Glendale town hall event on Armenian genocide that was attended by Rep. Adam B. Schiff, who is at the center of the effort to impeach President Trump. The event at the Glendale Central Library was meant for an Armenian organization to thank U.S. government officials for their support of resolutions recognize the Armenian genocide. Schiff is a co-sponsor of a resolution. I won't get into so this is an Armenian genocide event, and there are pro-Trump protesters that saw an opportunity to confront Adam Schiff. But this does reference that Adam Schiff co-sponsored a resolution to recognize the Armenian genocide. Let me go to that. Love the internet. Look at this. Congress.gov. House Resolution 296 affirming the United States record on the Armenian genocide. Sponsor, Rep. Schiff, Adam, California. Committees, House Foreign Affairs. And they did a vote, but here's the resolution, and I encourage you to read this. This is a beautiful, beautiful document. I love every word in this. It just basically backs up all the research I've been doing. It's like, yep, I can affirm all of these things are true. This is the United States of America attempting to do the right thing. This was drafted on October 29th, 2019, and it resolves, whereas the United States is proudly, I won't read it all, but I'll read the beginning. Whereas the United States has a proud history of recognizing and condemning the Armenian genocide, the killing of, it mentions Henry Morgenthau, whose great-granddaughter we interviewed on the other podcast, Tales of Truth, Raphael Lemkin, who coined the term genocide, Adolf Hitler referencing the genocide before he attacked Poland, all of this stuff. And then it says, we resolve that in the sense that it is the sense of the House of Representatives that it is the policy of the United States to, number one, commemorate the Armenian genocide through official recognition and remembrance. Two, reject efforts to enlist, engage, or otherwise associate the United States government with denial of the Armenian genocide or any other genocide. And number three, encourage education and public understanding of the facts of the Armenian genocide, including the United States' role in the humanitarian relief effort and the relevance of the Armenian genocide to modern-day crimes against humanity. All right, good stuff. So the House passed it, whatever this date is, in October. It went to the Senate. And the Senate, I'll just read it. Resolution agreed to in Senate without amendment and with a preamble by unanimous consent. So this all a resolution expressing the sense of the Senate that it is the policy of the United States to commemorate the Armenian genocide through official recognition and remembrance, and it passed unanimously. All right, and this was April of 2019. Then, I'm not going to read all of this, but the Hill. Trump administration rejects Senate resolution recognizing Armenian genocide. The president did not, I'm reading right here for those of you who are lost. The president did not describe the events as a genocide. Turkey has spoken out against the U.S. government's defining of these events as genocide. It claims that the events of the early 20th century are disputed and lack academic consensus. Yeah, no. Anybody who denies the Armenian genocide is equivalent to someone who denies the Jewish Holocaust. Period. It's not. Obviously, there's never a universal consensus. There will be naysayers. There are those who reject the Holocaust. There are those who reject us landing on the moon. There are those who think the earth is flat. This is equivalent to that. Last week, the Senate passed a unanimous vote, a resolution recognizing Armenian genocide as official U.S. policy. I'm thankful that this resolution was passed at a time in which there are still survivors of the genocide who will be able to see that the Senate acknowledges that what they went through. The House passed their own version of the resolution in a vote of 405 to 11. Interesting, those 11 nay votes were all Republican. I want to dig into that at some point. The passage of the resolution was meant as a rebuke of Turkey in response to Turkish President Recep Erdogan's October decision to launch an offensive into North. So the violence of theirs continue. All right. So, but the president or the White House did issue a statement by the president on Armenian Remembrance Day, which is April 24th every year. And I think this is probably the same thing they issue each year. This is the most recent one. Now, I just want to read part of this. This is all good. I mean, this is a very good thing. The words are all good, but I want to bring out a distinction. Today, we join the global community in memorializing the lives lost during the Meds-Yaghen, one of the worst mass atrocities in the 20th century. Beginning in 1915, 1.5 million Armenians were deported, massacred, or marched to their deaths in the final years of the Ottoman Empire. All right. If that's not a genocide, I don't know what is, but this term is translated horrible event, something like that. It's like this awful, awful thing. And in Armenian, that's how it's referred to. What we're talking about is the word genocide is not in here. And that's kind of the technicality. It's genocide, genocide, genocide. Genocide is a very distinctive thing. There's a very distinct definition. You can say all of the defining characteristics, but if you leave off the one word, then you're not recognizing it. And, it's politics. So the president of the United States, as of yet, no president ever has. They all promise. And you can go to a video over on my other channel where there's a historian, a respected and authoritative historian explaining why, it's politics. It's politics. We have military bases as a strategic location. Turkey is a NATO ally, blah, 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 blah. So is Trump or Biden better? Yeah, I told you I was going to connect the Hunter Biden, the thing that's going on right now, to me, my project. I'm going to continue the series, but I'm pushing to get the United States of America, the President of the United States of America, to recognize statehood for Artsakh. That's not recognizing the genocide, but it's a step beyond, I would say. I would say if the president still has qualms, still is unsure, is being influenced by his handlers against recognizing the genocide, that, he knows it's the right thing to do. And I can't explain why he would resist, other than maybe it's Adam Schiff rubbed him the wrong way. Well, obviously Adam Schiff rubbed him the wrong way, but Adam Schiff being the sponsor of the genocide, the Armenian genocide bill to recognize it, the resolution, and also being the attorney prosecuting him that successfully impeached him, right? Maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe. But let me finish off with one last interesting little surprise, or that connects me directly, even more directly, to this whole scenario. This young lady right here, Shannon Thomas, she's in this video, if you can see it. We all agree that genocide is evil. On my other YouTube channel, Tales of Truth. She is she's been my assistant. She's helped me with this project. And once I get funding, I want to hire her full time. But she's worked in international conflict. She used to work in Adam Schiff's office. So there's that. All right. That's enough. This is a long video. Hopefully you were able to make it through it, but I'm connecting some dots. And as this channel continues, we need to get more subscribers and more viewers and get people educated and informed about what's going on. It's a geopolitical mess, but there are answers, and I think Statehood for Art Talk is one of them. So subscribe, share, and do it now. Click that button that says subscribe. Click it, and then forward it. All right, bye.